everyone, I wanted to welcome back first of all to Rahe's Place. So I just wanted to give, I won't say a final update, but pretty much my last update regarding my surgery and my recovery process. We are entering day 6, and the healing process has been going pretty good. As you know, if you watch my previous video, I went to meet with my doctor on the 26th. I had my surgery on the 22nd. That visit went really well. So far, things are pretty much the same. There's a lot of bruising. The stitches are still healing. The scarring is definitely there. At first, I wasn't really sure if aesthetically I like the shape of everything, but I am still like swollen and with the bruising, so things are changing day by day. I just wanted to go over some important facts. If you do decide to have this procedure done and you're just not really sure, I wanted to show you a picture of the scar. So far, this is post-operatively. Here's a picture of the scar. As you can see, it looks a lot worse than it is. It's really not that bad, but I can feel the scarring. I started actually today to use the scar cream. If you know from watch my previous video, I had mentioned 2 scar creams that I'm using. So this is one scar cream, silicone scar cream. I'm not using a lot of it, but I just took a small amount and just placed it like in those areas that where the stitching is and where I'm healing. I just put a small amount because I did start showering, thank God, because 5 days without showering, my body was about to go into shock. My washcloth was about to go into shock. My washcloth was like, what's going on? My washcloths were like, we're not used to this. Something is going on. We need a re-rinse or something. But other than that, yes, I have been able to begin showering, but what I'm noticing is that I have to keep the area really dry around the fipple area. I'm saying fipple because I don't know if I'm allowed to say, the other word, but I'm keeping that area dry, and also underneath the chest area here where the stitches are. I'm keeping that area very dry, and I'm also using tape, this wound closure tape. I went to CVS and I actually purchased a few boxes of this tape, but I'm looking for the silicone scar tape to put in those areas, just to help with the healing process and to hopefully help the scars diminish as time goes on. It's going to take a while. It's not going to be overnight for those scars to disappear. It's probably going to take a good year or more. It probably won't be that prominent as you see here, but it will begin to lessen. I purchased a few boxes of these wound closure tapes. I'll show you what one looks like. They're really like small strips. I don't know, strips. And what I'll do is I'll take one strip, I'll cut it into pieces and just tape it around this areola area right there where the stitching is, and then I'll take the longer pieces of tape, as you can see there, the longer pieces, and just align them where the scar is. As you can see there, the tape is around that area wherever he made the incision. These boxes, they're not cheap. They're like $10 a box, and you get you get 30 strips in a box, but I'll tend to go through a lot of boxes. The super absorbent wound dressing, and so these are like patches that you can place over the fipple area. And so what I would do is just take a patch, I would place it here, I would tape it down, and this really helps. And then of course I would put my surgical bra on over everything. This is just while the stitches are still dissolving and while the stitches are still holding everything in place, because the last thing you want is for a stitch to come loose. That could be really bad, especially in this area if the stitches start coming loose. And also to prevent from infection and just keeping the area clean and dry, making sure your hands are clean. This is all about wound care right now, because you want to make sure your hands are clean when you are putting the bandaging on in this area and while you're healing. I also purchased the non-stick pads just as a backup. These pads are really good as well. There's about 25 non-stick pads that come in a box, and see, they're a little bit smaller, but not much smaller. I use those as well, just to place a patch here and a patch here, and I'll tape it down and just keep it on overnight. And as long as it stays, the patch is clean, I don't have to change it as often. It's only change it like after I take a shower or after I bathe, and I'll change it. Let's see, today I also picked up, today I purchased bruise relief cream because, as you can see in the next photo, I have considerable bruising. And so this bruise cream is called Amicare, and it's supposed to be really good and help with the bruising process. It's supposed to work really quick. I haven't tried it yet. I just received it today, so I'll try it tomorrow. It's a bruise gel. I'll just put a small amount on those areas where it's really bruised, and hopefully that will help with the bruising. Also, in the next photo, I'm going to show you many years ago when I was in my 20s, I had a lipoma. It started out as a small knot on the left side of my back, and I didn't really pay much attention to it. I was like, I have a little small knot on my back, no big deal. But what happened is the knot began to grow really big and got the size of a golf ball, and my bra strap kept rubbing against that bump, and I was like, I need to go have this checked out to make sure it's not cancerous or anything like that. The surgeon assessed it. It was not cancerous. It was like fatty tissue. In those days, they didn't have the they weren't that advanced with surgical procedures back then as they are today. Now today, you could just go into a dermatologist's office and they'll slice you open and remove it. Then back then, during that time, I had to go under anesthesia, having him make a small incision in that area and then remove the lipoma. As you can see, the scarring is not, it's really minimal. You could barely see it. It took a while. I didn't put any type of cream or anything in that area to make the scar look less prominent. Just on its own began to fade, so you could barely see it. Even if I wore like a backless dress or a backless top or whatever, the scar, you couldn't barely see the scar. That's good. As far as with the scarring process, with this procedure, I'm hoping that I heal well and that the scar will be minimal, or I'll have to go take other necessary steps to minimize the scarring, and that could be very costly. I'm hoping I won't have to do that, but that's preparation. I prepared prior to the surgery, losing the 10 pounds, making sure I was exercising, trying to tone my skin as much as possible so I could heal faster. So I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm not in my 30s anymore, and the healing process is a lot different. And the 5 pounds that I put on, yes, I lost those 5 pounds after the procedure because I just didn't have an appetite. I was pretty much trying to force feed myself after the procedure, and I just didn't have an appetite. I slept most of the time. The medication made me very sleepy, very drowsy. One of the medications was really too strong, so my doctor suggested that I cut the pill in half, take half a pill every 6 hours. I've been doing that. As of today, I really don't feel I'll need to take the pain medication. I finished the medication for just to ward off any type of infections. That medication was only for 5 days. I completed that medication, so that medication is done. Let's see. But as far as with the pain medication, I really don't think I'll need to take any more pain meds. If I need to take an extra strength Tylenol, I can take an extra strength Tylenol, and that will help with any pain that I'm feeling. yes, let's see what else. Oh, and after the surgery, I also had a 24-hour bug. This was vomiting and everything. I actually I lost the 5 pounds. So I lost the 5 pounds. So the 5 pounds I put on, I lost that 5 pounds. But thankfully, everything else is going really well. I'm doing well with the healing process. I go back and see my doctor, as I mentioned in the previous video, after December 2nd, and I'm just so happy with everything, with the results. So as you can see from the photos here, this is pretty much kind of like the final result of everything. The shape is changing, but for the most part, I am happy with the results. At first I thought that everything looked a little bit kind of boxy in shape, but the shape is changing. I'm swollen and I'm bruised, and as time goes on and the swelling goes down, everything is changing. I do kind of miss the voluptuousness of what I had, but I don't miss the back pain, the cutting in my shoulders. That I don't miss, but I am having some withdrawal from what I had previously and everything. But as you can see, I'm happy with the results. My doctors, they're amazing. I thank God so much for these doctors and for just leading me to them, because I didn't even know anything about my plastic surgeon. I met my plastic surgeon through his wife, who is a doctor, and they work in the same office. So she practiced one type of medicine and he practices another. And so it just worked out perfectly. They are both amazing doctors. He just did everything. I could tell that he just really took his time with making the incisions, and the timing, it was supposed to take 6 hours. He finished in 4.5 hours. He removed about 700 grams, which is equivalent to 3 pounds in total. So that was pretty good. He did say he didn't want to remove too much because he remembered that I said I don't want to be too small and I don't want to be too big. So please don't take too much off of me, because I do want to keep, you know, that feminine look, and I didn't want to lose too much of myself, you know, if possible, if that makes sense. But you know, for me personally, so he did remember that, and he really honored that was what I wanted, and he remembered and mentioned that. So he's great, just amazing doctor. So if you need a plastic surgeon, just, you know, leave a comment and I'll give you that information if you decide to have this procedure done. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and one other thing, you have to stay hydrated. You have to stay hydrated throughout the process, before and after. I have been staying hydrated throughout this process, especially after getting sick and really needing to replenish myself internally, with just getting better. So just eating, staying hydrated, just not overdoing it, making sure you're getting plenty of rest is really, really important in this process. So thank you so much for watching my channel, Rahayu's Place. I hope you return. I hope you enjoyed the information that I share with you. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will be sure to answer any questions you leave in the comments as best I can. Thank you so much. And once again, you know, happy holidays. This is Thanksgiving. Have a safe and happy holiday season. I hope to bring you more content. It won't be about this, but I do hope to bring you more content, and I hope that you really that will really entertain you, educate you, and if just content that's going to make you laugh and maybe cry sometimes. I have been in tears, happy tears, since this procedure. I am so happy with my results. I do cry at times because I can't believe that I finally had this done and I'm not in pain anymore. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.